Thank you, Sir Roger, and it is a pleasure to serve under your chairmanship today, and I thank the honourable member for North West Cambridge for securing this debate and opening with a very thoughtful speech where I certainly learnt many things, and the interventions and speeches today, as ever, the honourable member for Strangford, interventions from gentlemen from Hartlepool and Northampton South, a new member there. I've found a really interesting point around the home design, as did the front bench lady from the Lib Dems. And I agree about the point about charity. The challenge is, hello, I'm here from the government to help you, sometimes isn't always the right approach equally. But I think there's certainly much in this flooring debate. And I too thank the new member for Uxbridge and South Ruislip for sharing his impact. I lost my home when my dad was made disabled. I certainly didn't have people round due to disability. So we may approach things differently in this House about how we fix things, but actually many of our experiences are often very similar. So I thank him for sharing that, because these things are never easy to do. The outgoing Conservative government certainly found this as a hidden issue, and I did when I had my time in the Department of Work and Pensions. I welcome hearing from the honourable lady opposite, because we have debated together often, and it's a pleasure to be in the chamber with her this afternoon. I do believe, though, in this area we had a strong record of understanding in the DWP, and I recognise some of the officials in the chamber this afternoon. But the challenge always is how to approach these matters, and of course despite delivering the fastest growing economy in the G7 and the economy mentioned today, the challenges around the pandemic, around the war in Ukraine, meant that very often supporting the most vulnerable was absolutely crucial and very much a challenge over the last few years. But the benefits rightly were uprated with inflation, the state pension by 10.1% in 2023 and again 8.5% this year. And I was very proud to work on the cost of living support, which I'm sure the Minister may come on to mention, the £94 billion of cost of living support, and I was the Minister that delivered the key cost of living payments to 8.3 million people in 2023, and that is no mean feat for the Department of Work and Pensions. And I also signed into law the regulations to bring 6 million extra cost disability benefits, £150 additionally for disabled people. The End Furniture Poverty Now report is stark, with 55% reporting that those of them with a disability need those extra payments. And in fact, I visited furniture poverty support that we gave as the government, particularly in Wolverhampton, and it was very clear it was about materials and fabrics as much as beds. So I thank them for their report, and I appreciate that this is something the department is very much seeking to understand. And I appreciate too the honourable lady and the Labour Party have a somewhat complicated relationship with universal credit, but we do know it works in terms of getting support to those people that need it, particularly during the pandemic. The move from a paper-based process has been absolutely a change that we certainly lent on during the pandemic. And when I was the Minister, we were able to allocate 900 million of the dormant assets scheme to projects across the UK to alleviate wider poverty and again to support the charity sector. I know many local authorities understand the challenges and needs from their communities best, and that's why I absolutely support the extension of the household support scheme. Of course, that was something when I was the Minister that we really worked on flexibility and guidance for local councils, whether it was buying an air fryer or supporting with an energy bill, or indeed a washer and a dryer. That was absolutely possible. And in the very first tranche, £3.8 million and £4.8 million awarded to my own local authorities in East and West Sussex respectively. And I've seen this, as I say, in action in Wolverhampton. I've seen, though, the support that's needed to be given in libraries through support through the Citizens Advice Services, both in East Grinstead and Uckfield, in my own constituency. And I'm glad that we're close to this need on the ground. And I do applaud the government for supporting this. And I do hope that alongside the uplift to the LHA that we and I were able to deliver on, that she can too persuade the Treasury that this is important to continue with. Now, of course, we know that the government's decisions in the budget will certainly add to some challenges. It is frankly shocking, and I think the Minister would agree with me, that the Joseph Rowntree Foundation concluding the average family is going to be £770 worse off in real terms by October 2029 compared to today due to the budget. So it's a clear sign that our constituents need to know where those £300 of energy savings will materialise from. And of course, shamefully, the changes to the 10 million pensioner payments. We know, of course, that it's really important that the government responds to the Social Security Advisory Committee about the potential poverty impact. And I do ask the Minister, if perhaps in responding, whether she can explain to me how she feels this will work in terms of furniture poverty. We heard about the choices between heating and eating, and that's certainly something I worked to alleviate. And also, I'd love to hear from the Minister, particularly around the disabled people point, about the future of the cross-government work of the disability champions, which I understand somewhat has been sidelined, which meant that each department took a focus when it came to disability and poverty in terms of our disabled people. So to wrap up, Mr Chairman, taken together with the impact of the budget of broken promises and looking to the future, I hope that the government can be sure that people can keep warm this weekend as pensioners, that they will continue to work with local authorities and the Treasury to help those people finding themselves affected by furniture poverty and work to alleviate that. I think there's some very practical ways mentioned today, and as the opposition we will work with the government, we will work with members to make sure that we support any changes that are possible. But I do say to government members, when they troop through the lobby voting this evening on the budget today, that they'll remember this debate. Thank you.